What are your thoughts on cheating? Why do you think people cheat?
There's a lot of different reasons.
Exactly.
This is what people say, quotation marks.
Okay.
People say that they cheat because they just don't feel the sensation anymore, and that's understandable. But if you don't feel the sensation no more, then why don't you just break it off?
Getting into that topic, not feeling the spark, it's gonna happen in any
Yeah.
relationship. It doesn't matter whether you're married or stuff like that. Obviously, it's gonna happen because you're so used to the person, like they don't even excite you anymore, right?
Uh-huh.
But that's where I believe that you're supposed to work on the relationship more.
Yeah.
You not just go out and cheat. If you have a weak mentality, you're gonna go out and cheat. You know, if you have a strong mentality, a mature mentality, this is why you should always focus. That's why you should really focus on who you're dealing with. Since the very beginning, are you dealing with an honest person who will communicate with you any little tiny thing, or are you gonna mess with somebody who just ignores their feelings and ignores communication? It just says brushes it off like nothing, and you guys don't communicate.
The first option.
The second option is usually the person that cheats.
The second option.
What? The second option? The
second option. No, but
you're like
no. Option number 2. I want to see what's under two. I want to see what's under box number 2. Yeah, like
that's where you're supposed to work on the relationship more.
Uh-huh.
Because if you're having struggles and all that stuff, it's obviously for the other person to acknowledge. Because if the person is not getting ready for you anymore or doing things that they used to do to have the spark going on, if they don't cook for you anymore, if they don't get ready for you anymore, if they don't compliment you anymore, obviously you're gonna little by little lose the spark because they're not doing the things that you fell in love with them for, about. Yeah, so usually people tend to like get more busy with like, oh my god, financial stress and like all these other personal stresses that they completely forget about catering to their person or like still keeping that spark alive. And that's where you should really work on it. So a mentally mature person will go on and communicate that with you. Like, let's say we're going through it and like, I used to cook for you and do all these things for you and I don't do it anymore. You're gonna feel left out. And then that's where, if you're a mentally mature person, you're gonna come towards me and tell me, hey, you know what, Jenny, uh, there's different ways to go on about it. Don't just say, don't freaking go at that person like, you used to cook for me, you don't even do that shit. No, like, no,
it's like saying like, I know that there's been some changes. I don't know if it's anything personal going on with you that you might not mention, or if it's anything between us. But
how come you don't cook for anymore?
yeah,
I like literally you have to be emotional.
It's like down and talk. Sit down and talk. And
most people don't feel
then,
comfortable with sitting down and talking. Like personally, I don't like to just sit down and talk. It's like I want you to tell me what's up. Like I don't want to sit down and talk because I just find it a little cringy. It's like if I'm cooking for you or doing something, like just go up to me and tell me like
you just want to be straight up.
Yeah, I would like them to like have their own way and then tell me like, hey, it made me feel nice when you used to cook. Because at the end of it, it's just emotional confessing feelings like, oh, like it makes me feel so nice when you buy me flowers and stuff like that. Like, let's say you used to buy me flowers and you don't anymore. Then I'll be like, oh my god, I'll give you hints like, oh, I miss when you used to buy me flowers and stuff like that. What that will set an alarm for the other person. Be like, oh shit, she wants flowers. Like, listen, if you're a mentally mature person, you will go and do that and acknowledge the other person, and maybe that'll get you thinking like, when was the last time I even got her flowers? Like, maybe she's feeling that loss of spark because I'm not doing what I used to do. And then just by doing that, like, well, it all depends on the person as well. Mm-hmm. Like, are they gonna take action or are they not?
Yeah.
But instead of going at them and saying like, you don't do this shit for me no more, this and that, it's like, go up to them and be like, hey, I remember when we used to cook together. Let's cook together again or something. Just keep the spark alive. And just by doing that, cooking together how you used to, instantly the feelings are gonna come back. Instantly, you guys are gonna have a good time. Or like, let's say I used to cook for you. I don't anymore. And you come to me saying like, hey, it made me feel nice when you used to cook for me. Like, how come you don't cook for me anymore? But like in a good way. Don't go at them. And then that will naturally be like, oh shit. If you're dealing with the right person, they will react and be like, oh shit. When was the last time I cooked for him? Or when was the last time I did this for him? Or maybe he wants me to do it. If you are dealing with the wrong person, then they're gonna be like, oh my god, this motherfucker. Yeah, they're gonna take it the wrong way. That's why you really gotta focus on who you are with since the very beginning. That's the whole point of the talking stage. Because you don't just want to like, oh my god, just because all those feelings are there, you don't want to jump into a relationship, because then down the line, a month later, 2 months later, when they show their true colors, you're gonna be like, damn, I fell in love with the wrong person. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? I fell in love with the spark of what they're giving me, but not their true selves. That's why you need to really get to know the person, become friends first, best friends, and then that's where you identify, do I really want to be with this person forever? Like, if things go wrong, will she communicate with me or just brush it off? Yeah. Or so that's when you really you need to get to know the person at a deeper level. So that's why I'm always like, okay, I met somebody, but I'm not gonna show him whatsoever. But he is my homie, so I will introduce him like, oh, he's my homie, but that's about it. Am I getting to know him? Yes. Is there a possibility that we will be together? I don't know because I don't know how he is yet. Until I get to know that person, then that's when I identify, do I really want to be with this person or not? Because feelings are everywhere. Feelings will, some people have feelings on their freaking sleeve. They wear their hearts on their sleeve. So just by a little spark, they'll be like, oh my God, I want to be with this person. I love this person. No, you don't. You just love the emotions and the feelings they bring to you when, you're lacking something about yourself.
Yeah.
But if you really work on yourself and you're independent and you know how to handle yourself and be on your own, those little sparks, that little love, that little what is that thing called in the beginning? I forgot what that little phrase is called. The little love spark, whatever the fuck, in the beginning. That's not gonna get to you because it's like, okay, I need more than just those emotions.
Butterflies.
Yeah, the butterflies in the beginning. If you really work on yourself and you're very independent, stuff like that, you are not going to jump head in first with the person that gives you butterflies because it's like, okay, it's more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta get a better understanding of the person.
But why do you think people
being in a relationship is kind of,
Yeah, it's freaking tough, dude. It's real fucking tough.
yeah,
That's why you
but
gotta choose the right person and
yeah, but
really
you
get to
also need to
know
learn
him.
how to be mature. You can't be in a relationship if you're immature. Like we're not in fucking high school no more.
Exactly.
You know, like there's some relationships out there that still act like they're in fucking high school. Like you can't be in a relationship with a mature person and an immature person because you guys are gonna go at it. You guys are always gonna go at it.
Exactly.
So you gotta learn how to.
What is an immature person to you?
Basically, what you just said right now, like when you try to talk about something that's going on
And they take it the wrong
and they
way.
take it the wrong way. That's just immaturity right there.
Oh, brother.
Like they're pointing out things that you're doing wrong. They're pointing out things that are going on with you, and if you take it the wrong way, then that's immaturity. Because they're telling you this for a reason. They're telling you this because they want you to work on it. Because not only for yourself, but how you treat other people because of it. You know,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a good thing to work on it for yourself. But it's also the way you reflect your energy onto other people is something that you don't want to do. You don't want to reflect bad energy onto other people. Because some people could be having a good ass day, and if you're having a bad day, you reflect onto somebody else, you're gonna bring them down. They got a mature person knows how to take criticism. No, acknowledges when they're doing something wrong when they know they're doing something wrong.
Your little ears.
They acknowledge what they're doing wrong, and even when people point it out, they don't take it the wrong way because you acknowledge you know what's going on. It's like it's just you gotta learn how to. A mature person is learning how to take responsibility for their own actions. You know, if you can't take responsibility for your own actions, you're just an immature person. You can't also blame other people for your actions because yeah, you could have went through a lot, but you can't put it all on that. Because
Exactly.
because you decide who you want to be. Other people don't. Other past experience don't decide who you are.
You could control another person. If they don't have self love, there's absolutely nothing
Yeah,
you could do to make them feel better or love themselves.
yeah,
Maybe temporarily for like a couple seconds, but then they'll go back to it.
yeah.
Oh no.
You don't want to deal with people like that.
Exactly,
You never
definitely
want to deal with anyone like that, because it's never gonna go anywhere until they realize what they're doing wrong. But if you're constantly pointing it out, nothing happens. Nothing's gonna change. An immature person is just
somebody who will cheat practically.
yeah.
Yeah, you're like, nah, yeah. Immature people will go out and cheat because they are not willing to communicate with their
Yeah,
partner.
they're not willing to hear the truth. You
Or
gotta
even then as well. No, another reason why people tend to cheat is what I just remembered. So, two individuals will love each other so much. They've been together for so many years and stuff like that. I'm messing with it. They've been together for so many years and stuff like that. Let's say the male is so in love with the woman and he doesn't want to leave her alone, but he has already communicated with her that, like, hey, I kind of miss when you used to cook for me and this and that. Let's say she takes it the wrong way. He will go out and se va a confirmar with
with
the
somebody else.
woman who does what his woman won't do. And
Mhm.
that's where the cheating goes because it's like, oh my God, this is what I've been wanting. This is what attracts me. And he will go out and cheat. And I'm not saying cheating is okay, but he will go out and cheat because he already communicated that with his woman. His woman either took it the wrong way or she's not taking action, but he doesn't want to leave her alone. He loves her. He wants to be with her, but sadly, that person's just not doing what he wants her to do. So then he goes and interacts with other people, like, oh my God, you know what, my wife doesn't do this and that other woman, let's say she's a good woman, whatever, she will naturally do those things that his woman isn't doing for him, and then they go out and cheat because he thinks like, oh my god, I found somebody else, or but then they will feel guilty and they will come back home with all that guilt, like, oh my god, I cheated on my wife, this and that. So partially, because you could easily be like, oh my god, if you're thinking about cheating, just leave.
It's not that hard.
Especially if you, I mean, it's not that hard, it's not that easy. I'm like,
It's not that hard. The fuck, just leave her, like the fuck.
no, but it's not that easy, especially if you love that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's another reason why people tend to cheat, because they're so in love with the person they don't want to let them go, but because you already communicated with them, they're still not doing it, but somebody else is. You're gonna feel special, you're gonna have all those emotions on your sleeve, and then you're gonna go out and cheat, and then you're gonna come back with guilt. And it's like, oh shit, but I don't want to leave her because I love her and she's always been there for me and she's just my woman, I can't leave her behind, but I cheated. But it's all due to just emotional attachment, so that's another reason why people cheat. Well, it's the same reason, but that's another form of cheating. Yeah, another reason of cheating, or just mentally weak people, but again, it's not really being mentally weak if you really love that person, because it's hard. I've been through that shit before. Like my recent ex, I always asked him like, oh my god, you don't do this for me, this and that. I would communicate that with me, or he would tell me, oh, I'll get you flowers, I'll get you this and that, but he never did. And then I had all these options of men who would come and give me what I always asked of him. Because he wasn't doing it, I ended up going out and talking to them and like going on dates with them and stuff like that. But I will feel guilty and I wouldn't feel anything for him, because my love and my dedication was to this other guy that wasn't doing anything for me. So it was hard for me to leave him because I was so in love with him. But yeah, I was still going out on dates with the other guys until I finally said, you know what, fine, I gotta leave you behind. Even though my mind was canceled out by him, my heart wasn't. Oh god damn. But even though my heart was so attached to him, I couldn't leave him behind, but I knew that I deserved better. So, it was just extremely hard. And that's when I went out and dated other guys, or talked to other guys, or went on dates with other guys and stuff like that. Because they were giving me everything I wanted, but it wasn't from the person that I wanted it from. So in a way, did I cheat? I wouldn't say I cheated, because he never made me his girlfriend. He always made excuses not to make me his girlfriend, because he still wanted to go and whole around, right? Saying, oh, I'm not ready, or oh my god, I don't want to be in a relationship right now, I need some time, whatever the fuck. If you really want to be with that person, you're gonna do whatever it takes to be with them.
I can't see.
I'm like, me neither, but
you have a good point there. But then again, that shows immaturity. Not from your end.
It's immaturity.
Not from your end though. What?
But it is emotional weakness.
In a way, yeah.
It's emotional weakness on my end, because I really love that person. He's not doing what he's supposed to. But that was on me. That was my fault, because since the very beginning, I knew that he wasn't the person that was going to do what I wanted him to do. By that, like, take care of me, buy me things, or, cater to me in different ways, tell me I'm pretty. He never did any of that, and I knew that from the beginning. So if I really wanted to avoid cheating, or like, dating other men and looking for it somewhere else, I should have left him behind since the beginning. Just that I was emotionally manipulated because I was mentally weak. He knew his way around words, and he knew his way around everything. So he manipulated me enough to keep me under the hook for 3 fucking years. For like 3 fucking years, literally. Yeah, until it's finally over with and I finally gained my mental strength. Vendemos trocas y camionetas.
Vendemos de todo el pinche. I get what you mean by that. But again, this kind of shows immaturity on his end, because
an emotional weakness on my end.
Exactly.
Because I should have known since the very beginning, but because I was mentally weak, I fell for it, and I ended up falling in love with him when he never wanted anything with me. Yeah. But he was keeping me around because of what I provided for him, financial stability. Yeah. While he was down on the floor, So it's like, I don't know, So that's why I was hooked on him for like 3 years, and we would always be on and off real fucking bad. But I would always let that surpass and just like whatever.
Because you always look at the bigger picture.
Because I would look at the bigger picture. I believe he could change if he really wanted to, because I changed. Everything about the whole going on a date with another guy, this and that, while I was talking to him for 3 fucking years, never made me his girlfriend, nothing. Because he just didn't want. He wanted to keep his woman around. What's it called? But I was so mentally weak, so in love with him, that I did things that I never thought I would, and I would never do ever again, because that's now through the experience and everything, it's like, no, like, that's not who I am. I lost myself because of him, so I had to rebuild myself again. And I remember crying to him, saying like, bro, I lost myself because of you. And I remember him crying to me like 1 month later, saying like, no dude, I lost myself because of you. And I'm like, bro, You were the whole fucking reason why I lost myself, and now you're crying and bitching that you lost yourself because of me. So it's like I treated you the same way that you started treating me, and all of a sudden you want to say you lost yourself and you don't know who you are anymore. It's like, no, you should have thought about that when you decided to freaking keep me hooked, knowing that you were never gonna make me your girlfriend. Or when you decided to manipulate me. I was young either way. That was like 3 years ago. During those 3 years, I really learned a lot. I put my friends to things that I shouldn't have, and I'm very regretful of that. But at the end of the day, I'm so grateful for who's still around, understanding. So as long as I don't put myself in a position to hurt my friends again, then I definitely won't do that shit. You know what I mean? Because I've done that enough, and I've always felt guilty. And he would always tell me, "Oh my God, you always prefer this person and that person over me." It's like, yes, because what the fuck? You don't bring shit to my fucking table. You don't bring anything to the table in general that we're both sitting in. You don't bring any freaking value to my life. I'm the one bringing a shit ton of value to your life. You're not bringing anything to me. But my legit friends are bringing so much to my table that you can't provide. That you can provide, but you decide not to, and then you wonder why I prefer them over you.
Yeah.
Oh god, that you're like shit.
It's like what I tell my friends when they're going through shit with the woman, and you can't give your 100% to someone unless they're giving you that 100% back. You can, like, in a relationship, it kind of has to be like 50-50. You have to give. You guys both have to give each other the same energy to complete that 100%. It can't just be
Yeah.
one sided. It can't just be one sided.
Not
It's
everybody.
because it's like you're saying, like you're gonna treat the other it's like you're gonna treat the other person the way that they're treating you, and they're gonna take it the wrong way. If they're immature, they're gonna take it the wrong way. So they're gonna come and give you shit about it. But it's like it's not a bad thing. You're just reflecting what the energy they're giving you. But yeah, when you do it back, it's a bad thing, which is how society is fucked nowadays. Because you can't be getting mad at somebody for giving you the same energy that you're giving them. It's like it just shows immaturity. You can't be that immature. You can't be getting mad over shit that you cause.
Do you believe people really give their 100% in relationships?
No, not until you meet the person. Not until you know that they're the one. You know, like I feel like once you get to know them, it's like it slowly builds up. It slowly builds up. But once you know that they're the one, then that's when you start giving your full effort. Once you know that once you know that
But
they
is it
stick
always
your,
100%, no matter how much effort you put in?
like I told you, it has to be 50-50. Not in terms like that, but it has to be 50-50 in terms of the energy you guys give to each other. It can't just be one sided. It's either you guys both give it your all, or there's no relationship.
I remember seeing a video where they're like, nobody gives their 100%. It's usually like 90%, 99%, but nobody ever gives their 100%. Not because they don't want to, but that's just because naturally we cannot really give them 100%. You know what I mean? That's why cheating also comes in, or that's why people leave each other and stuff like that. Because, especially egotistical people, it's like, I have somebody who's giving me 90%, which is their full, 100 type shit, but it's just 90%. And then they're like, wait, but I'm missing 10. They go look for 10, and they have 10, and they're so satisfied until they realize that 10 is missing 90. And then that's when they start missing the person that was giving them 90.
Yeah.
And it's like, for what at this point?
They're gonna go look for things from other people, but once they realize that they're gone, they're gonna want to come back.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the person that was giving you 90, you say, fuck, I'm missing 10%. Fuck this. It's not enough. They look for 10% just to find out that they're missing a higher amount than just 10. And that's when they go back to the 90 and be like, yo, like, can we try it out again? But you had already hurt that person because you went to go look for somebody who gave that 10%.
Yeah.
For example, like an individual who gives you their all, gives you financial stability, mental, spiritual, every aspect type of stability, but they're missing the looks. Let's say that 10%, they're missing the looks. So then that person will go out and find that person who gives that 10%, which is just looks, but they're missing financial stability, they're missing mental, spiritual, and all those aspects stability.
Yeah.
That then once they realize that, oh my God, it's not all about looks, and they're missing that other 90% of stability, that's when they go back to the 90% stability, and they're like, okay, you know what, looks doesn't even matter, but why are you going to go back to that 90 if you already messed her up and the relationship's not even going to be the same anymore? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's also where cheating comes in. You cheat on that 90 to be with the 10 just to find out the 10 is not even all that. What you really want is the 90, but you were so focused on that 10%, you forgot about the 90. But once you deal with that 10%, you think about the fact that the 90 was always more important. So then you try going back to the 90, and it's all bullshit. Especially if you cheat. You know what I mean? That all comes back to communication and stuff like that. But if you notice that person is not giving you what you already communicated them with, at this point, as hard as it is, just leave them. If you really actually find somebody who will give you 99%, you know, but it's just really hard because that's why you really need to get to know that person.
Yeah. Preach.
Preach.
Amen.
Let's preach to the
Amen.
Lord.
You're welcome.
Please. Persínate por mí, por favor. I'm right here. Entró a mí. Thank you.
You're welcome.